This is part of a series of videos. Check the playlist in the cards or the description to find the others. You could even do stuff like when this is down here, when you have low health or something, then we can have some extra effects kick in. So let's adjust how this works first to let us more easily do stuff like that. So these are that's the bar, that's like behind it. That's just a test thing. So instead of just powering this keyframe more or less, we can use a timeline and wire that into the playhead and now move further along or back along the timeline. So if I just put that keyframe in here, I could expand it by scaling it up, which now it's always fully powered, but we can go like this, and now it's got a fade out so that when it's earlier down here it's powered less, and when it's up here it's powered more, so it'll work the same. Another way of doing this keyframe stuff is by having an empty keyframe at the start, and then having the tween as you would with any other animation, and then turn off smoothing here, and then it tends to be a bit more of an accurate, like linear smooth change. When it's 0, let's have it disappear. So I'll just add another keyframe for that section and make these two power off. There we go. So when it's 0, it's not even got a bar. Oh, that's playtime. When it's 0, it's not even got a bar, and then when it goes up, the bar kind of appears. And there's no way to have it infinitely thin, a text box, so that's kind of just how you have to do it. But we can adjust like how far along this goes. So just drag the edge and make it as thin as you can, and now it will disappear when it's just actually at 0, which is probably what you want. And now it goes up. I'll just make it thinner by grabbing the sides, grabbing the top and bottom. There we go. Cool. So what if we say during this part it isn't red, so let's just make it black in the background, but when you get down to here it starts flashing red, this background. So let's make a flashing red animation first with another timeline, and I want to play and pause. So this timeline will loop so that it will flash on and off and keep looping like that, and we can have a keyframe in here which makes our background go red. I'll just make it dark red so it's more ominous. Cool, so now just make that wider, and that will kind of loop. I'll probably make it faster. I can zoom in with L1 on right while hovering the timeline and kind of do that. We could even give it some like softness to it, so it kind of fades in a little bit. How you want to do it. Yeah, I think I like that. Cool, but when do we want this to activate? We want it to activate like down here somewhere. So let's have just a switch in here. So timelines aren't restricted to animations and music and sound. You can just put anything in here and it will be powered at the right time. So now we can power this while our health is down in this range. So playtime, and while we're up here it's not flashing red, and while we're down here it's flashing red. And I'll make the keyframe red. Aha. One thing you may notice is when I go back onto it, it won't start from the beginning, so it won't start with the flash. It'll start with it being like half flashing over here, like that. So if you want it to properly trigger from the start, you can just wire this into the tweak menu for this rewind or restart timeline input here. And now you've got a flash that starts when you have low health. You could even have like a ding. I'm just gonna record a ding. Bing. Okay. So now, bing, 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 bing. Yay! Bing, 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 bing. If you want it to like actually properly play that sound, even if you come out of it halfway through, you can change its tweak menu settings to slice playback mode once. Bing. The slice is like the audio sample, so me saying bing is the slice. So if you put it on once, then when it gets powered, it will play all the way through. So now, bing, 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 bing. Yay! Bing, bing, bing. Like that. Although, as I showed, bing, 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 bing. That can be pretty annoying. So you can say, if it goes into it again and re-triggers it, then it will cut the previous one off. And you do that in the settings, the sound options. There's the polyphonic limit, as in polyphonic meaning many sounds, maybe? So this is how many of this audio file can play at the same time, basically. And for instruments, that would be how many notes can be playing at the same time, like in a chord or something. So if you put that down to 1, then that should... Bing, 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 yeah. Bing, 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 bing. It might be hard to tell, but they're not all overlapping now. It just cuts out and starts playing a new one. Bing, bing, bing. Like that. So let's just give these timelines names. So this is the bar. And this is the warning. And if you wanted like a special bit of UI in the corner or something, you could add that here. So if I wanted an icon of like a warning symbol, I could put another text displayer in here and give it the icon UI alert and just plaster that on the screen. So make it red or something. And just make it appear to the side, and now that will just work when we are at low bing, bing, bing health and disappear when we're not at low health. Bing, bing, bing. You know, plaster it in the middle of the screen if you want to. Bing, just put anything you want to work while we're in this warning state. Just stick it in there. You could even put these things in here so that they're all like nice and tidy in one timeline, and now you could just wire your health into the timeline and it'll just work without having to have a whole chip for it. But I won't do that for now, I'll just leave it like that. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to learn something new every day.